Hey everyone, welcome to the mysterious world. Amidst the endless sands of time, Egypt rises as a land where history and mystery intertwine. Join us as we embark on a journey to uncover the hidden truths and ancient wonders of Egypt, a land where every stone has a story and every shadow conceals a mystery. In the heart of the Egyptian desert, standing tall for over 4,500 years, lies one of the greatest marvels of human achievement, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid of Giza is strategically located at the northeastern tip of the alignment formed by the three major pyramids on the Giza Plateau. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, this colossal structure has fascinated explorers, historians, and tourists alike, drawing millions to witness its grandeur. Constructed around 2580 to 2560 BC, the Great Pyramid was originally erected as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops. At its completion, it was the tallest man-made for nearly 4,000 years. Originally standing at 146.6 meters, over time much of its smooth white limestone casing was removed, reducing its height to the current 138.5 meters. What remains visible today is the underlying core structure. The pyramid's base was measured to be approximately 230.3 meters square, resulting in a total volume of around 2.6 million cubic meters, which includes an internal hill. The pyramid was built with an estimated 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks, each weighing between 2.5 and 15 tons. Most of the stones used in the pyramid's construction are irregular in size and shape, with only rough dressing. The outer layers were held together with mortar. The primary material was local limestone from the Giza Plateau, but some stones were transported by boat along the Nile. White limestone from Tura was used for the outer casing, while massive granite blocks weighing up to 80 tons were brought from Aswan for the king's chamber. But how did the ancient Egyptians accomplish such a monumental feat without modern machinery? This question has puzzled experts for centuries. The construction of the Great Pyramid required incredible ingenuity and coordination. Some theories suggest that ramps, levers, and sheer manpower were used to transport and position the massive stones. Others believe there may have been more advanced techniques lost to time. What remains certain is that this was an engineering marvel, reflecting the sophisticated knowledge and capabilities of ancient Egyptian society. Ancient Greeks thought slave labor was used for building the pyramids, but recent findings suggest thousands of conscripted laborers were involved. Worker graffiti at Giza indicates that teams were organized into groups of 40, each supervised by 10 overseers. To understand how over 2 million blocks were cut within Khufu's lifetime, stonemason Frank Borgas conducted an experiment using tools from Khufu's abandoned quarry. The experiment showed that cutting a block took for workers about 4 days, but progress increased six-fold when water was used. Borgas estimated that around 3,500 quarrymen could have produced the required 250 blocks per day to complete the pyramid in 27 years. A 1999 construction management study involving Mark Lenner and other Egyptologists estimated that the project needed an average workforce of about 13,200 people, with peak numbers reaching around 40,000. Inside the pyramid lies a complex system of chambers and passageways designed with mathematical precision. The internal layout features 3 primary chambers: the King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber, and subterranean chamber, along with a grand gallery and several corridors and shafts. The lowest chamber was carved into the bedrock beneath the pyramid, but was never completed. The other 2, known as the Queen's Chamber and the King's Chamber, where a granite sarcophagus is housed, are located above ground within the pyramid. The most famous of these is the King's Chamber, made entirely of red granite and housing what is believed to be the pharaoh's sarcophagus. It is believed by some that Hemunu, Khufu's vizier, was the architect behind the pyramid's design. The pyramid has 2 entrances, the original and a forced passage, which intersect at a junction. From there, one passage descends to the subterranean chamber, while the other ascends to the grand gallery. From the Grand Gallery, you can take 3 paths: a vertical shaft down to a grotto and the descending passage, a horizontal corridor to the Queen's chamber, or continue up the gallery to the King's chamber with its sarcophagus. Both the King's and Queen's chambers feature small air shafts, and the King's chamber has 5 relieving chambers above it. The original entrance is on the north side. According to Strabo, a movable stone could be lifted to access this sloping corridor, but it is unclear whether this feature was part of the original design or added later. In 2016, the Scan Pyramids team identified a cavity behind the entrance chevrons using muography, which was confirmed in 2019 to be a corridor at least 5 meters long and either horizontal or sloping upwards. In February 2023, an endoscopic camera explored this north-face corridor, revealing a 9-meter-long horizontal tunnel with a cross-section of about 2 meters, featuring a ceiling with large chevrons similar to those above the original entrance and in the relieving chambers. Today, tourists enter the Great Pyramid through the Robbers Tunnel, which was carved through the pyramid's masonry long ago. From the original entrance, a passage descends through the pyramid's masonry and into the bedrock below, leading to the subterranean chamber. A horizontal shaft links the end of the descending passage to the subterranean chamber. The subterranean chamber, or pit, is the lowest of the 3 main chambers and is the only one excavated into the bedrock beneath the pyramid. The well shaft, also called the service shaft or vertical shaft, connects the lower end of the Grand Gallery to the bottom of the descending passage, approximately 50 meters (160 feet) below. The shaft is commonly thought to function as a ventilation shaft for the subterranean chamber and as an escape route for workers who position the blocking stones in the ascending passage. The horizontal passage connects the Grand Gallery to the Queen's chamber. At its entrance, 5 pairs of holes indicate it was once covered with slabs level with the gallery floor. The Queen's chamber is positioned exactly midway between the north and south faces of the pyramid. In 1872, British engineer Wayneman Dixon discovered shafts in the north and south walls of the Queen's chamber. In 2017, Scan Pyramids scientists identified a large cavity above the Grand Gallery using muon radiography, which they named the Scan Pyramids Big Void. The purpose of the cavity is unknown and it is not accessible. The King's chamber is the highest of the pyramid's 3 main chambers and is entirely lined with granite. The King's chamber contains only a single, hollowed-out granite sarcophagus. When rediscovered in the early Middle Ages, it was found broken open and empty. The north and south walls of the King's chamber each have a narrow shaft commonly referred to as an air shaft. The purpose of these shafts is unclear. They were once thought to be for ventilation, but now many Egyptologists believe they had a ritualistic role related to the king's spirit ascending to the heavens. Surrounding the pyramid was an elaborate funerary complex that included 2 mortuary temples linked by a causeway, one near the pyramid and the other close to the Nile. Additionally, there were tombs for Khufu's immediate family and court, 3 smaller pyramids for his wives, an even smaller satellite pyramid, and 5 buried solar barks. In ancient Egypt, high social status was viewed as entirely positive, and the stark social inequalities were symbolically represented by the contrast between the enormous pyramids and the smaller mastabas. The sizes of tombs were strictly regulated by royal decrees, with specific dimensions officially prescribed. During the Old Kingdom, only kings and queens were permitted to have pyramid tombs. The architectural design, funerary furnishings, and access to materials and labor were all controlled by the king's authority. The internal chambers of the Great Pyramid are notably devoid of inscriptions and decorations, which was typical of Egyptian tombs from the 4th to late 5th dynasty. The only markings within are graffiti left by work gangs, including references to Khufu. Constructed around 2600 BC, the Great Pyramid predates the practice of inscribing pyramids with texts by more than 200 years. Khufu's pyramid complex included 2 richly decorated and inscribed temples. The pyramid temple was dedicated to the said festival, which celebrated Khufu's 30th jubilee. Surviving depictions from this temple show Khufu, along with officials, priests, and other figures, engaged in ritual activities. The Valley Temple, although mostly unexcavated, has yielded blocks reused by Amenhotep I that feature nautical scenes and personifications of Khufu's estates, such as the estate named Khufu is Beautiful. The mortuary cult of Khufu, which continued to operate in these temples for centuries, suggests that Khufu was indeed buried in the Great Pyramid. Further evidence that Khufu's funeral was conducted by his son and successor, Djefer, comes from the presence of Djefer's cartouches on the blocks used to seal the boat pits near the pyramid. The Great Pyramid was likely looted as early as the First Intermediate Period and may have been repurposed afterward. Arab accounts describe various discoveries inside the pyramid, including tales of mummies and treasures. For example, Al-Makrizi recounts the finding of 3 shrouded bodies, a sarcophagus filled with gold, and a corpse adorned in golden armor with a priceless sword and a ruby the size of an egg. Many mysteries surround the Great Pyramid. Some believe its alignment with the stars and the precision of its construction are evidence of knowledge far beyond what we typically attribute to ancient civilizations. In the past, the Great Pyramid's construction was dated by attributing it solely to Khufu, making its timeline dependent on his reign during the 4th dynasty. This method focused on establishing the sequence of events during that period. Absolute dates are determined by a network of evidence primarily based on succession lines from ancient king lists, supported by genealogical data, astronomical observations, and other sources. Consequently, Egypt's historical chronology is mainly political and independent of archaeological evidence like stratigraphy or radiocarbon dating. Most recent estimates place Khufu and his pyramids' construction between 2700 and 2500 BC. The pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt, the exactitude of its base to within fractions of an inch, and its relation to the golden ratio all fuel speculation about its purpose and the extent of ancient Egyptian astronomical knowledge. The Great Pyramid of Giza served as the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu, and it still houses his granite sarcophagus to this day. Like other tombs constructed for Egypt's elite, it had for primary purposes. First and foremost, it was designed to house and protect the body of the deceased, ensuring its safety for eternity. Secondly, the pyramid was a monumental display of the pharaoh's status and the prestige of his family, symbolizing their power and influence. Third, it helped maintain the deceased's position in society, even in the afterlife, signifying their continued presence and importance. Lastly, the pyramid provided a dedicated space where offerings could be made to honor the deceased, allowing the living to sustain their connection with the departed through rituals and gifts. The pyramid was designed to ensure Khufu's safe passage to the afterlife, with its shape symbolizing the rays of the sun, connecting the earth to the divine. The Great Pyramid of Giza has left an indelible mark on human history, inspiring architecture, culture, and even modern science. Today, the Great Pyramid stands as the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, a testament to the enduring legacy of Egypt's great civilization. It remains a source of awe and inspiration, reminding us of our shared human heritage. The Great Pyramid of Giza, an eternal monument to the ingenuity, faith, and power of the ancient world. A timeless wonder that continues to captivate the imagination of all who gaze upon it. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating videos of the mysterious wonders of the world.